Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by the rest of the NCTV crew live from the New Canaan High School gym, where we are in store for a critical FCAC matchup. The 10-8 New Canaan Rams, fighting for their hopes at a chance at the FCAC tournament on Saturday, play the 13-5 Staples Records. To my left, I'm joined by JV basketball player Brendan Tiscornia, who's worked with me all year. And to my right, we have a new voice for the broadcast, JV basketball player Matthew Wronski. I'm pleased to have you on that. And, two's better than one, in basketball and in life. So we're going to roll with it in the three-man booth in a game that is critical, Brendan, for the NC Rams FCAC chances. Break down what has to happen for the Rams to make the tournament.
Well, the Rams are down to their last leg. They need to win out, and they need Brian McMahon to lose the rest of their games.
So
the Rams' remaining schedule is tonight against Staples and Wednesday night against Bridgeport Central.
So as you may play tonight, Staples is having the best years in recent memory under head coach Colin Devine in his 11th year here at Staples High School, and they're having one of their best seasons under him, the former New Canaan varsity assistant coach. Meanwhile, Brian McMahon, who the Rams lost to earlier in the year, is currently the 8th seed in the FCAC picture, but they haven't clinched that spot yet. They play the third best team in the FCAC, Fairfield Ward, tonight at Brian McMahon. That's a tough game. And then they play Trumbull, another good FCAC team at 7-7, also fighting for their chance in the tournament on Wednesday. Matthew, you've been around this team, obviously, with Brendan. How are the guys thinking? Do they think they have a legitimate chance against a Staples team that at the beginning of the year was a top 10 team ranked in the state?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to New Canaan High School for tonight's FCAC
you hear all around the locker room, I believe everyone still has hope. These seniors have been through it all. Last year was such a successful season. They obviously were probably more anticipating a little bit better of a season, but I believe that we still have a fighting chance at this FCI tournament, and I believe we can still make it in.
In this Staples lineup, as I mentioned a second ago, one of the better ones they've had in years, led by number 24, 6'1" senior Jake Thaw. He will head to Michigan next year to play football as a preferred walk-on. He plays quarterback, wide receiver, and safety, but tonight he's a dynamo player for them. All four of Staples seniors are captains, including Thaw, Ben Fuhr, A.J. Constanti, who's heading to Cornell next year to play football as a tight end, and an all-state punter. And then you also can't forget about their final senior captain, Teddy Dienst. Meanwhile, for the Rams, they'll be trotting out junior Christian Sweeney, one of their better 3-and-D players. Leo Magnus, number 20, their super athletic 6'6" wing. You got Hank Poley, who recently committed to play at his parents' alma mater of Colby College. So he will continue his basketball career there. And then their two stars, Alex Gibbons, who missed his last game with a left pinky. Pinky is broken, so he's going to be playing through that tonight. And then Ryan McAleer, who's been battling some injuries here and there all year. He's back in the lineup. We're going to take it to the national anthem and be right back in a second for this good game.
Supporting the student athletes and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, derogatory comments, or other intimidating actions directed at athletes, officials, team representatives, or other fans will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the gym. We appreciate your cooperation in creating a safe and positive game environment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
So we are back after the national anthem in a game that should be a very interesting one. Last year, New Canaan did beat Staples. Staples went 9-11 last year, just missing out on the FCAC tournament. Meanwhile, the Rams looking to go back to the FCAC tournament for the second straight year and in the fourth year of head coach Danny Melzer. Now, guys, has Coach Melzer and the crew preached that this is somewhat of a must-win game, or have they just been running you hard in practice and just doing business as usual?
Make no mistake, they know exactly how important this game is. Inside the locker room, it's basically the FCAC playoffs have already started for them. On the board it says FCAC playoffs begin tonight, which they kind of do for the Rams because they have to win out from here if they want to make a run for the FCAC championship.
At the tip is Hank Poley for New Canaan, number 34, as the Rams are in white, and A.J. Constanti, the 6'4" senior, number 5 for Staples. The battle between two double-digit win FCAC teams starts with Ryan McAleer getting the tip as New Canaan wins it early on. Jake Thaw defending. McAleer just directing traffic as the Rams start off a bit slow. Gibbons driving, spinning, fadeaway is money. Doesn't matter, that injury is not slowing him down whatsoever as he puts the Rams up early. Here's Ben Fuhr, one of the 4 senior captains of Staples. And here's Jake Thaw. And Staples' best all-around player. He has a mismatch on Hank Poley, nearly lost the ball, and getting it to their star sharpshooting junior Lucas Bassich. Back to Thaw here, driving baseline, kicking it out. Moving the ball around, putting up the floater and banking it in is Ben Fuhr, the 6'1" senior. Ties the game up. A minute in. Exchange blows. Here's Christian Sweeney jabbing on Fuhr. Getting it to fellow junior Leo Magnus. Back to Gibbons, spotting up, open 3. Money. 5 points for number 5.
Off the injury.
What injury? He's looking phenomenal right now. Thaw working on Sweeney. Pass is broken up, and Hank Poley gets it. Gibbons, good move.
Great pass.
Dumping Magnus, and talk about a guy you want in transition, Matthew, and Leo Magnus with all that length.
Very true. He's one of the only guys on this team that can actually dunk, and you can see it in practice how honestly insane his vertical is. It's like he's levitating in.
Well, the Rams got to feel high about their chances right now for an early 5-point lead just 2 minutes in. Here's Jake Thaw. Slowing it down a little bit, getting this team settled. Here's Bassich, working on Magnus. And here's Fuhr. Good cut from Jake Thaw, but good defense in the lane from Alex Gibbons. The ball is loose. Hank Poley saves it off his back and gets it to Christian Sweeney in transition. As McAleer slows it down. A lot of people in attendance for this game. Staples could clinch their first appearance in the FCAC tournament in a while with a win tonight. Getting it down low. Great pass from Magnus and an and one bucket from Ryan McAleer as he hits the deck, pays the price, and gets the bucket for number 10.
We're seeing a high-energy start from the Rams, and Coach Colin Devine will call a timeout with 5 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
And Coach Devine has been at Staples for 11 seasons, but this has to be one of the better years that he's seen. He's a current phys ed teacher over at Staples. He spent 1 year a long time ago as the varsity assistant here at New Canaan. He used to be a star at Trumbull High School where he resides, and his wife actually teaches in the New Canaan school system at South School. Matthew, we're going to get a second look at that Ryan McAleer bucket. What'd you see here?
Honestly, all I see there is just a great finish by Ryan McAleer. I mean, no way like anyone else other than him on the floor is going to make that bucket. His ability to make shots around the rim is crazy.
Brendan and I usually call him the magician for those finishes like that in the lane. He gets the and one free throw to go. New Canaan up to the 8-point lead. And the ball is out of bounds on Staples. Losing it there is Derek Sale, the 5'11" sophomore, as Staples makes an early substitution. Here's McAleer, getting it to Poley in the high post. And back to Ryan McAleer, getting it to Gibbons. Fearless three-point is up, and it's in. 8 points for Gibbons off a perfect 3 of 3 from the field and 2 triples. Lucas Bassich drives and is denied at the lane by sturdy defense.
There's a lot of contact there, but Hank Poley was straight up on the defensive end.
Gibbons feeling confident in that one. Pulls up with a man in his face and misses his first field goal of the night. Bassich bounced past the Thaw. Nearly lost it. Now kicking it. An extra pass to Constanti, and he will draw the foul.
Like you can tell with the Rams right now, they're just trying to draw some charges. You can see in those last 2 possessions, they're really flopping. I mean, you can just tell they don't, when the Staples are driving to the lane, they really want to draw some charges.
And A.J. Constanti, he's a great football player for Staples, starting tight end and all-state punter, even though their team wasn't the best this season. And on the basketball court, he's great, and he's one of the best FCAC student athletes with a 3.9 GPA. He was named to the FCAC academic winter list, so he can really do it all as he sinks the free throw there. McAleer gets the hard screen from Hank Poley and kicks it back out to the Colby commit. As Coach Melzer wasn't happy what he saw there. Just over halfway down in the first quarter, New Canaan leads by 9. Now they lead by 11. Another Alex Gibbons bucket. He has 10 of the Rams' 15.
You can see the sense of urgency from Alex Gibbons. He knows this is one of his final high school basketball games, and he's not going to give up without a fight.
Christian Sweeney pushing the pace on the fast break, but he comes up short on the finish down low. Staples on the other end here. Here's Derek Sale again, turning it over earlier in the quarter. Getting it to Jake Thaw, who's been shut down mostly by New Canaan tonight. Thaw drives, a lot of contact there. No fouls called, and no shot is made, and it's going to be heading the other way for New Canaan. As Brandon Seachin, who started most of this year for the Rams, is going to check in, their three-point shooting specialist. So, guys, are you surprised that New Canaan's jumped out to such a dominant lead? I mean, we know what this team has been able to do when healthy, but this is a bit of a shock.
Well, these seniors, it's been a rough year, to say the least, but they're here to show that despite all the injuries and despite some poor play at times,
that's going to...
You never want to count them out. They still got a heartbeat.
I like the way you put that. Benny Fior got the bucket on the other end for Staples to bring them back within single digits. Bringing it up here is Caleb Tobias, number 12, the 5'10" sophomore. Jake Thaw still in the game. Brandon Seachin guarding him. Constanti is going to take an extra step there and get called for the travel. He doesn't see where he messed up there. John Hall, the big 6'7" senior, is going to check in for Hank Poley. In New Canaan, they have got those big wins this season. I mean, we can't forget about how they beat Fairfield Ward, the third best team in the FCAC, in overtime. Earlier last month, they beat Wilton on the road in overtime, currently tied with Staples for the 6th seed in the tourney. And Trumbull was also a good win. New Canaan, when healthy, has proved they can be an FCAC power. But
fortunately for Staples fans, Lucas Bassich has been delegated to the bench with a facial injury, it appears.
Good point. Leo Magnus, strong take inside. Count the foul as he gets the and one.
Great take right there by Magnus. I mean, he's that type of guy that can just take it to the rim. every time. I mean, he's quite the finisher.
And Matthew, he can really do a little bit of everything. He can create his own shot too.
Honestly, yeah, no, he's a very good three-point shooter too. You can see that he can shoot from the field. But I think he's one of the better finishers in the FCI.
And he's able to rattle that free throw in thanks to a little bit of help from the rim. It squeezes in there. New Canaan up 18-6 over a 13-win Staples squad. A 12-point lead with their FCIAC hopes in the balance. To say the least, they've showed out. Driving baseline and putting it in, getting past Ryan McAleer is Ben Fuhr, which is not an easy thing to do. McAleer, one of the most athletic players in the FCIAC. Just a minute and a half left. New Canaan still leads by 10 as John Hall has the ball in the high post. And McAleer has to work around him for a second. Sechin gets room for three and drills it. He's always going to take it when left that wide open. And Coach Devine calls his second timeout of the quarter as there's no answer for stopping down the Rams right now.
This Staples team, there's no other way to put it. They've looked flat to come out here in this first quarter. The Rams are hitting. The Rams, to the contrary, are having everything go their way on the offensive end.
You know, Brendan, I completely agree with you there. I think it might be this crowd. Great turnout here for the New Canaan Rams. I mean, it might just be that. The Terps are really seem to be hurting the Staples team.
The largest showing in quite a long time here for the Rams. First day back from February vacation.
And meanwhile, over vacation, the Rams looked a little, I guess, flat, you could say. You know, Sechin with that nice three there. But they lost to West Hill last Monday, which was a shocking loss at home. And then they only beat Norwalk by 2 on the road. Norwalk only a 5-win team. And they didn't have Alex Gibbons in that one due to injury, but still you expect New Canaan to come out with a dominant W in that one. And they came out a bit flat while still getting the win. Deep three from Jake Thaw is nowhere close as John Hall uses all 6'7" to snatch the rebound. Leo Magnus open for three, and it's going to go up and over the backboard and out of bounds. Usually you expect that one to go in. As Colin Russo, a fan favorite, looks to check in for the Rams.
Colin Russo,
Ryan McAleer will check out. Christian Sweeney will also check in.
You know, Russo, he's a very, average player, but, at some points, like in the St. Joe's game, he hit a bunch of clutch shots down the stretch. And I believe that, Colin Russo is a very good player, and he maybe can make a very big impact in this game.
He's showed out in big moments this year. Not a lot of people expected him to, Matthew, but he's delivered.
Also a great defender on him.
Awesome pass to Benjamin Fuhr. Threading the needle, and Fuhr has been really one of the lone bright spots so far for Staples offensively. Brandon Sechin saves that one, nearly losing that off a deflection. And a miscommunication as Gibbons looked to dump it off to Christian Sweeney, and no one caught it. And Gibbons gets the block on the other end. And Sechin saves it again from going out of bounds. Puts up the half-court heave and almost puts it in. But talk about a valiant effort from the New Canaan Rams. They've played a perfect game so far, if you could call it that. 21 points on offense, only giving up 10 points. Jake Thaw hasn't scored yet. AJ Constanti's been limited. Was there something in the game plan that you just knew would work, guys, or is it just a bit of luck? What's happening?
I think they're playing with urgency. They realize the gravity of this situation. This is a must-win game for the Rams, and they're treating it as such.
And if we're being honest here, I mean, Gibbons he's really helping out this team. I mean, let's be honest. How many does he have? 10 right now?
10.
I mean, he's having a great game so far. 10 in the first quarter, and honestly, he's boosting this Rams team very much right now.
And that was his first three-point shot.
And on the opposite end of the floor, they've been able to hold a very good three-point shooting team of Staples to 0 three-pointers made. Only one attempted in this first quarter of action.
Were there major tweaks made to the defensive game plan, or did you just stick to what was working?
This is their same fundamentals they've been working on all year, but Tonight, it's been kicked into high gear.
And maybe, Brandon Seachin, more of an offensive guy, bringing both Christian Sweeney and Leo Magnus in a starting lineup at the same time, provides a lot of athleticism and a lot of length,
Great
too.
steal there by Seachin.
Seachin's been really active defensively tonight, though, too. Colin Russo driving, and Lucas Basic nearly picking that pass off as it rolls out of bounds. Basic, a really good junior who will probably head to college to play somewhere.
Basic's brother is actually a senior at Greens Farms and is going to play at Colby College with New Canaan's Hank Pulley.
Yes, David Basic, that is. And also shout out to New Canaan resident Andrew Mayock. Why not? Great sharpshooter for them at Green Farms Academy, playing alongside David.
Almost lost there by Sweeney, but now he's going to take it up.
And take it in. An acrobatic finish from number 12.
He's one of the toughest players you'll see anywhere in the FCAC.
Yes, I mean,
he may be a little undersized for his position, but he makes up for it with strength and hard-nosed defense and finishing ability.
Another bucket for Benny Fior. He's really been the lone Staples option tonight offensively.
Going back to what you said about Sweeney, I mean, I feel like it's that football grit. He's a very acrobatic player. He's probably one of the most athletic players I've ever seen. And, I mean, he plays like he has urgency right now.
Here's McAleer in the corner. New Canaan still up 11 with just under 7 minutes left to go in the first half. McAleer gets it to Seachin, jabbing. Christian Sweeney's open in the corner, lets it fly and puts it in. Back-to-back buckets for Sweeney. Talk about flat. This is a deflated Staples team. Coach Devine calls his third timeout within the first 10 minutes of this game.
New Canaan timeout.
Well, hey, Coach Melzer always knows when to cue him up. Even after a big-time play, he never lets the players get too high or too low, in a sense.
Calling a timeout in a situation like that where you just hit a big bucket, I would expect some sort of defensive change to confuse this Staples team even a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like that's a great call. I feel like there's a great call there by Melzer just to reset the defense and just change it up on Staples. I mean, they're obviously holding them strong on defense right now. They can't get anything to go.
26-12. New Canaan with their FCAC hopes in the balance have come out more than strong in this one. Here's Lucas Basic running up on Sweeney. And then getting it to Jake Thaw, but no separation is being created by this Rucker team right now. Deep three. Rims in for Lucas Basic. Finally, Staples catches a break from beyond the arc. That's their first three of the night.
That can be very dangerous. Once a shooter sees the ball go in, it tends to go in a lot more.
It's like a light clicks on. Sweeney, or McAleer, I should say, getting doubled, kicking it to a wide open Brandon Seachin in the corner. He can't get it to go. It's short. Here's Thaw on the break. As they slow it down, Derek Sale with the ball now. Colin Russo still in the game, playing a good chunk of minutes tonight. Basic again, three. And this time, the air balls. You might have jinxed him a little bit there, Brendan.
Russo and Seachin will check out in favor of Alex Gibbons and Leo Magnus.
Now Alex Gibbons came out hot, 10 points, a pair of threes, 4 of 5 from the field. Really a perfect game so far, playing through a broken pinky. Had a partially torn hip labrum earlier on in the season. But he's showing out for the team as he's jabbing on Jake Thaw right now.
He's been a warrior for this team. It means a lot to him. This is one of his final games as a Ram, and
Henry Poley misses the open three, but he can make those. Derek Sale on the other end. Good defense from Hank Poley with just under 5 minutes left in the half. Magnus driving, using that length and just boxing out Derek Sale.
They're going to call a delay of game on Leo Magnus after spiking the ball to the ground. But on that drive there, once he's even, he's leaving.
Couldn't put it better myself, Brendan. I mean, when you have a mismatch like that, 6'6" up against 5'11" Derek Sale, if you're Leo Magnus, you got to take that. And he did. He's got 7 points tonight. AJ Constanti on the other end.
Well, that was a great back cut there by him. I mean, that just led to the wide open layup.
He's being overplayed on the wing there, and if he's overplaying you, the back cut will likely be open.
McAleer kicking it out. Wide open was Leo Magnus, but it's going to be a push on New Canaan. It's heading the other way.
Bassett draws the charge.
It's going to be on Ryan McAleer, his first of the night. New Canaan's also stayed out of foul trouble as well. Here's Jake Thaw, who I believe is still scoreless in this one. He's had a rough night for the multi-sport star of Staples.
And another charge right back on the defensive end for the Rams.
Alex Gibbons drawing that one.
And he did not look happy on that one. Wow. He put all his pressure into him.
That's on the 6'4", 230-pound AJ Constanti, who pile drives his way into Alex Gibbons, who will be heading to Carleton College next year in Minnesota. Here's Magnus. Rams still lead by 11. They've had a double-digit lead for a good chunk of time in this game. Magnus, beautiful pump fake, and he puts it in. He's having one of his best scoring nights of the year right now. He's got 9 points already. Here's Benny Fiore on the other end.
Magnus has been inconsistent at times for the Rams, but when he's on, it really benefits the whole team.
He's kind of like that X factor in a way. When he's clicking and you have a legitimate third scoring option to Alex Gibbons and Ryan McAleer, and Brandon Sechin also is a guy who can create his own shot. But when you have Leo Magnus too, it really makes you unstoppable.
Hank Pooley right there. He draws the foul.
Good point. And the Rams talk about something that is a bit of an underrated aspect. 3 guys you can go to on the bench for big man minutes, and John Hall and Hank Pooley. Pooley missed the beginning of the year with an injury. John Hall starts and plays great defense.
And also, new guy.
Even Dennis Mulcahy started on Wednesday against Norwalk.
And Dennis Mulcahy, he's a very strong player. He's almost like a brick wall. Coming off a screen from Dennis Mulcahy is like, it's crazy.
Defensive collapse for Staples there.
Ryan McAleer.
Looks like miscommunication on the switch there.
Getting an easy bucket. Bassett. Another charge.
Drawn by
this New Canaan defense is looking insane right now, Ian. Wow.
And they look calm and cool, too. Nothing's getting to him. Christian Sweeney just laughing after that one. I mean, played that one well there. This is the New Canaan team we've expected to see all season, and we've seen in spurts. But they've showed out tonight. Here's Leo Magnus off the pass from McAleer. Getting it to Sweeney. Give and go. Gibbons, 3, in!
He knew that was in right when it left his fingers.
It's like you almost know when he spots up, it's over. 13 points, 3 triples. And that's going to be a push on Christian Sweeney, who's always bringing that effort defensively.
And Keaton's checking back in.
When Gibbons was out earlier in the season, he missed 5 games with that hip injury. They went 2-3 in that stretch. And then without him in Norwalk, they won. So the Rams have been a 500 team without him. But with him, 4-2. So, again, not a big sample size, but it shows you this team's a lot better when obviously they have him in the lineup. And an and one. AJ Constanti, number 5, puts it in off the foul from Hank Pooley, as John Hall will check in. And also checking in for the first time tonight is the senior guard, Aaron Fishman, for Ryan McAleer. Constanti, an all-state punter and a pretty good tight end. He had 2 touchdown catches against New Canaan when they played him at Staples in football, I should say. And again, him and Benny Fiore have been really the 2 spots for Staples tonight that have been working, at least offensively. Seachin drives on baseline. Gets it to Leo Magnus in the corner for three. It's too strong. Lucas Bassage controls the board. Staples moving it up. And John Hall bringing it down.
Big steal right there by
Every
Hall.
bit of his 6'7" frame used to
Gibbons
gather that
again.
ball.
Letting it fly from beyond the arc, and Leo Magnus tips it into the hands of Brandon Seachin for the rebound. And it looks like Magnus is going to get called for the foul there.
You know,
Early in their half, the Rams were able to stay out of foul trouble, but they're starting to struggle with staying out of it nowadays.
And New Canaan, I believe, in the 1-1, so with 2 minutes left, can't afford to commit any more, really. And another foul there down low. 8 team fouls now for NC, as they'll get Ben Fior to the line. And it's going to be on Alex Gibbons, and they're going to check him out. He has had one heck of a half with 13 points. And Gibbons, a guy last year who was the second leading scorer, really, next to Matt Brand. And really, this year, it was his time to shine. And he stepped up, and even with the time he's missed, you got to imagine he makes at least all FCX second with the numbers he's putting up.
And you start to wonder how far this team could have gone if he wasn't injured.
Well, I know seeding is a big thing, and, you know, don't want to get too ahead of myself here. New Canaan obviously wouldn't want to run into a Richfield or a Trinity Catholic if they made the FCAC tournament, whereas Brandon Seachin airmails that three. But, hey, a fully healthy lineup. If they make the tourney, they make the dance. That's all that matters. But they're going to need some help if they want to get there. Here's Jake Thaw driving baseline. In with 3 NC defenders draped on him. He gets it to go. And Thaw was an all-FCAC second-team selection last year for Staples as he gets his first bucket of tonight to go.
And now you see the Staples pressure, but great pass right there.
And Brandon Seachin puts it down.
Great look right there by Fishman. They just left him wide open right there under the hoop.
The Staples is a team that looks to speed you up. They're more comfortable in a high-scoring affair, scoring, I believe, 85 points against St. Joe's last week.
And another air ball from Staples. Beautiful passes picked off. Maybe not that great a pass. Lucas Bassage with the steal. And then Leo Magnus is called for the reach-in. With 27.5 seconds left in the half, Colin Russo looks to check back in. That's his second of the game. New Canaan's one away from the double bonus, but with just 27.5 seconds left in the half, not too big a problem. Lucas Bassage, one of the better players really in New England, probably going to play somewhere in college. Maybe Colby.
Surprising miss for the sharpshooter.
Good point. That was far short. And New Canaan's probably going to hold for the last shot here with a comfortable 12-point lead.
And I'm interested to see what they're going to draw up here for this last shot.
Here's Colin Russo getting it to Aaron Fishman. The Rams really rocking a small ball lineup outside of John Hall, 4 guards.
Ryan McAleer.
Nope, they kick it to Colin Russo. Russo puts it up, and it's well short.
I think that was tipped in.
But regardless, what a half for New Canaan basketball in a game where Staples is the favorite, really. New Canaan is looking like that top 5 FCAC power that they were going to look like heading into the year. Let's turn to all the big highlights from the first half. You know, obviously, you can't talk about New Canaan basketball without mentioning Alex Gibbons. He had 13 points and 3 shots made from beyond the arc, getting it done in the paint as well on the turnaround jumper. Staples really struggled getting it done, but Benny Fior was one of their lone options, especially in transition.
Leo Magnus had some great takes in that first half. Let's see if he can keep it up.
Leo Magnus second on the Rams, scoring with 9 points, and a lot of it just getting big and getting it down low.
You can never count out a team like Staples. Only a couple big shots, and they can get back into the game.
And anything they can do in the second half to create more separation, because it hasn't been there in the first half. More spacing, I guess.
Well, these Rams have been ready. They read the scouting report. They're playing high on defense. That's why they're getting more layups, because they're more wary of the three-pointer than they would be against another team.
And more highlights here. Lucas Basic, they're really looking for him to get hot as he made that really deep three. It's one of Staples' lone shots from the three-point land in the half. Their offense, though, started to kick it up towards the second half of the second quarter. A.J. Constanti getting the bucket down low. But Leo Magnus had a really great overall first half offensively. Getting it on the pump fake there. You mentioned on the switch defensively, a collapse there. Ryan Mackler getting the bucket. Basic, Christian Sweeney was able to draw the charge there. And Alex Gibbons, he's just fearless when he shoots.
Look at that footwork. I mean, that's just very good footwork by Gibbons there. I mean, footwork, I mean, a good shot's all part of it, but without a good footwork, it's very hard to make shots.
Without a good base. And he always knows, whether it's off the dribble, catch and shoot, spotting up, it seems like his feet are always where they need to be.
And I've noticed with this Staples team, they're very strong. We got a couple football players on it. I mean, they're really a very tough team. They've showed it by their play in this first half.
We'll be back in about roughly 7 minutes. Ian Nicholas, Brendan Tiscornia, Matthew Wronski will be back. New Canaan leads by 12 over Staples in a must-win game for the FCAC, 37-25.
And welcome back to Canaan High School gym, where we have a surprising 12-point lead at the half for the New Canaan Rams over the Staples Wreckers.
Thank you very much, Brendan. I'm joined by, obviously, my two JV basketball players, Brendan Tiscornia and Matthew Wronski. In addition to the crew tonight, obviously they know a heck of a lot more about basketball than I do, even though I have a big Y-ball playoff game on Wednesday if anyone wants to see that one at 6:30. None of you want to. Anyway, for those Staples fans, you're a bit shocked right now that the team is down 12, but they did definitely pick up some steam offensively at the end of the first half, and we could be looking to see them put on some more points in the second, especially if they can get hot from three. As you mentioned, Brendan, we're just a few shots away from being back in this game. Ryan McAleer misses a contested lay-in down low off the Christian Sweeney pass. Here's Benny Fior. As Fior puts it up, hits the deck, no foul. He can't get it to go. He led Staples with 12 points in the first half. As Ryan McAleer will slow it down, Alex Gibbons led the team in the first half with 13 points. Leo Magnus had 9, and Ryan McAleer had 5. So did Christian Sweeney and Brandon Seachin.
You know, Ian, the key to this game right now for New Canaan is going to be to try and maintain this lead as Leo Magnus is blocked. It's going to be to try to maintain this lead. They have a 12-point lead right now, but that can obviously be changed very quickly.
You don't want to, if you're the Rams, you don't want to play to keep the lead. You want to play to improve the lead. You don't want to kick back and wait for time to run out. You want to keep the pedal on the gas.
And with a guy like Alex Gibbons in the lineup, you can always guarantee he's going to be putting the pedal to the metal offensively.
And after those threes, they seem to be just have a man right on Gibbons right now. Kind of like a face guard, but Gibbons is just too powerful with a great move there.
Speak of a double, Gibbons now up to 15 points as he bodies his way down low and puts it in with the left-hand finish. Playing through that broken pinky.
He is every tool you could want offensively. He can stretch you out and beat you off the dribble if you're too big, but there we saw him take.
Jake Daw turned it over, and then Alex Gibbons turned it over. So it's Staples' ball, and Alex Gibbons has to foul Jake Daw there in the lane.
And that is his third foul. Could be some trouble down the stretch for the Rams.
Just 2 away from fouling out. That's something you don't want to see if you're Danny Melzer and this New Canaan coaching staff. Daw nails his first. He really did not have a very characteristic first half. A guy who was an all-FCAC selection last year and one of Staples' leading scorers this year for a winning squad. You know, they came out early this season, but down the stretch, they haven't been able to get it clicking.
And Derek Sale subs back in for Staples.
Here's McAleer with 6:23 left. Bounce pass to Hank Poley. Getting it to Gibbons. That's one of his favorite shots, but he was draped up there. Christian Sweeney nearly loses it, and McAleer keeps it in bounds as Sweeney fell to the floor.
He's the first guy to hit the deck when going for a loose ball.
McAleer drives. Christian Sweeney nearly losing it again before getting it back out to Leo Magnus. Magnus brings it up, over, and in.
Great move right there by Magnus. That's what I'm saying. Very good post finisher.
That's 11 points now for Magnus. Here's Lucas Basic on the drive. Strong take. It's going to be heading the other way, though, as Alex Gibbons is going to draw the charge. That's the second on Basic tonight.
Number 23, Lucas Basic. That is his second.
As Sweeney inbounds. You know, Staples was a team who obviously came out hot to start the year with, I believe, 9 straight wins in a row, or a good chunk of wins in a row. They haven't been able to keep it up lately with some losses to Richfield and a couple others sprinkled in there. A couple missed shots from New Canaan. But they've lost some big games to St. Joe's, Richfield, Fairfield Ward, and Trumbull. But they're still in the FCAC race, obviously. Holy laser to Leo Magnus, and he puts it in.
Shot miss right there by Sale.
A timeout called by the Rams.
Again, another big play, and kind of just bringing him back down to earth is Coach Melzer and crew.
That's a good point, Ian. You don't want to get your players to get too out of control, too complacent. You want to keep their feet on the ground. There's still a basketball game going on.
And in transition, that's got to be Leo Magnus's biggest strength, right? I mean, you talk about the length, which is one thing, but you mentioned it multiple times, Brendan. He's a guy who, for an FCAC player, doesn't have that kind of athleticism in a good way. He really can run coast to coast.
You're exactly right. He's a physical specimen, to say the least.
And now the New Canaan Rams are up by 17, largest lead of the night, and it's looking a little bit not very good right now for Staples. Well, obviously can't get anything to go right now.
Jake Daw is going to travel.
Colin Russo drew another charge.
Or another
for the
charge.
Rams.
You know, these charges might be the killer for Staples right now.
Staples is not the biggest team, but this is almost like just too many charges for one team.
The defense tonight for the Rams has been terrific.
Stellar.
They're not letting Staples get off their signature three-point shots, and when they are getting drives to the hoop,
they're drawing charges. Christian Sweeney, open corner three, it rims out. But he's always going to shoot that one. Here's Jake Daw on the other end. Nice move to get inside. And he's going to get the and one. Or actually, it's going to be a foul on the floor.
I believe
no,
that
it's an and one.
I believe that is also Magnus's third foul as well.
That was a great move right there by Thaw. Obviously, we can see he's a great finisher like Magnus.
You know, as a football player, he can get big, but also he's really athletic and he's got a good amount of tools in the toolbox. He was actually scouted to play Michigan football by Jay Harbaugh, the running back coach, who saw his tape at quarterback and loved what he saw. And they're going to use him at wide receiver next year. So it really tells you what kind of athlete he is. He can get down low, but he can also hit shots from the perimeter and, you know, handle the ball as he gets that, but doesn't get the free throw. Poley tries to thread the needle to a cutting Ryan McAleer, but fails to do so. On the other end, the bucket is good from Derek Sale through traffic. Staples on a little bit of a mini run here, bringing it back to a 13-point game as Colin Russo nearly loses it, but they're going to call the foul on Staples. As Hank Poley will check out for John Hall, and Brandon Seachin will also check in.
New Canaan is obviously bringing the pace up so Staples can't get into a press. As you notice down there, Ryan McAleer is really speeding up the pace so Staples can't press right now.
McAleer, the leader of tempo here in New Canaan. He does it so masterfully, an underrated part of his game. Knows when to turn it up and slow it down. Here's Brandon Seachin with 5 points tonight. Ryan McAleer open for three, and oh so close as it clanks off the back of the iron. Jake Thaw with the rebound. Lucas Bassage kicking it up. Here's Derek Sale. John Hall bats it up in the air like he's playing volleyball and brings it down on the steal. Ryan McAleer looking to go coast to coast, and they're going to call the charge on McAleer. Jake Thaw was able to stand in there and take the shot.
The charges left and right here tonight.
Not necessarily a chippy game, but just going back at it, back and forth.
And McAleer, very good finisher in transition. He can either dish the rock or he can finish at the rim. And throughout the season, we've really seen that out of him.
Just winning a little too strong there. Constanti getting it to Sale. McAleer on the guard. Bassage spots up for three, and it's short.
They're really trying to get Bassage some shots here. They're setting up screens for him.
Just one made three for Lucas Bassage, the star junior, tonight. With just under 3 minutes left to go in quarter number three, New Canaan still leads by 13. Here's McAleer getting the pass from Russo down low. Christian Sweeney and one bucket over Bassage.
Great cutting right there by Sweeney. I mean, that's just a great basketball move right there by him.
And Sweeney, a three-sport varsity athlete, as you mentioned, Matthew, one of the most athletic people you've really seen. He can play quarterback. He's played wide receiver and running back for New Canaan's team. A lacrosse star, too.
As a key varsity player in 3 different sports, starting as a sophomore, he's no stranger to the spotlight, and he can hit big shots.
Jake Thaw, speaking of big shots, nails his first triple of the game to kind of quiet down New Canaan, although they have a 13-point lead. And Coach Devine is going to call the timeout. Again, a move that Coach Melzer has gone to a lot tonight. Hits the big shot, calls the timeout to get his team settled. Get a second look at that and one bucket from Christian Sweeney. And Sweeney, he can get it down low too, just smart cut.
Looks like Jake Thaw got confused on the defensive end, and Sweeney was wide open with the back cut for a layup.
And Ryan McAleer finding him for the assist. And then Jake Thaw. Got to get a second look at that mismatch against John Hall. As good a defender he is down low, you don't want to put him out on the perimeter.
Can't give these Staples shooters that much room.
No.
Great step back right there to create separation, and that's just a great basketball move right there.
And as we mentioned earlier, this is a big game for both teams in FCAC standings. Both teams have already qualified for the state tournament. Staples 9-5 in FCAC play. They're currently tied for the 6th seed out of 8 with Wilton. But they haven't clinched a spot yet. If they win tonight and make a comeback, they could clinch that spot with double-digit FCAC wins. Meanwhile, New Canaan looking to make it back to the FCAC tournament for a second straight year. Currently 7-7 in FCAC play. Fighting with Trumbull, Brian McMahon, and Stanford, who's still somewhat in the race for that last FCAC spot. Jake Dahl with the steal off the inbound. And Staples with a big defensive play in a critical moment. Sechin neck and neck with Dahl, and a foul is called on NC. It's going to be on Brandon Sechin as he was trying to keep up with Jake Dahl, the super athlete. Both teams have 4 team fouls in the second half. Really good inbound play and an and one. Colin Russo is called for the foul as Derek Sale, the 5'11" sophomore, gets it to go.
New Canaan was just caught lacking on that inbounds play. They simply weren't ready for it.
And Constanti checks back into the game.
As well as Alex Gibbons for New Canaan. Colin Russo checking out. With a chance to make it a 10-point game, and he's short. John Hall snatches the board and gets it to Gibbons. And now Ryan McAleer.
For as good of a shooting team as they are, Staples has had a lot of trouble from the free throw line tonight.
And usually you hear with young shooters, if you can hit it from the free throw line, you can hit it from 3. And they haven't been able to do either tonight, even though they've been one of the FCAC's best shooting teams all year.
And Sweeney misses that down low shot right there.
But it'll be out of bounds off Constanti.
So New Canaan gets a mulligan, a second chance on this possession.
And you can really see the defenders draped on Gibbons right now. I think that's Thaw.
Jake Thaw is matched up on him. That's a good matchup to watch. Fadeaway shot, and he's going to draw the foul. That's going to be on Lucas Bassich, who came in a little bit late trying to help out Thaw and couldn't get it to go.
Number 23, Lucas Bassich, that's his 4th. For the Rams, Alex Gibbons shoots 2.
4 fouls on Lucas Bassich. He's going to check out of the game now. That's devastating if you're Staples. You're going to need him a lot down the stretch.
And just a quick FCAC update at the end of the first. You got Richfield up 18-11 over West Hill. Meanwhile, Stamford, who had a slow start to the year but have a couple of really good guards and are still in the race for an FCAC spot, 7-8 in the FCAC. They're currently up 20+ at the half in their matchup.
Gibbons will knock both of those free throws in. He's a very good free throw shooter. I've rarely seen him miss on the year.
New Canaan still leads by 13 with just under 2 minutes left. Staples looking to get a little bit of momentum. Good move from Fuhr, but Brandon Sechin didn't bite for it. Here's Thaw dancing with McAleer. Kicking it out, open, Derek Sale, 3, and he buries it, number 3 with the 3. Back to a 10-point game. Sechin losing it, and it's off of his knee. Good defensive pressure there from Benny Fuhr, who's been getting it to go on both ends for Staples. The seniors talking over that one a little bit.
That's what we talked about before. It seems like Staples is starting to regain some momentum as,
That's a
Jake
bad
Thal
miss.
will airball the 3.
It's going to be a push on Fior, putting his hands up in disbelief as he fought with Colin Russo for that loose ball.
And here comes Aaron Fishman.
Both of these teams are racking up the fouls in the second half. New Canaan now in the 1-1 if another foul is committed. It's only the third quarter.
Get used to the charity stripe.
And here we go. This is the press I was talking about. Staples is bringing it now. They really want this ball.
John Hall lasering it open. Brandon Seachin 3, well short, but John Hall with the rebound. With exactly a minute left. Colin Russo 3, bang! Money, his first point of the night. Russo, big momentum bucket there.
Russo, a great spot-up three-point shooter like Seachin. Oh, as the New Canaan draws a foul.
That's going to be on Colin Russo, so you get your plus and you get your minus.
Yeah.
But still, that's a big momentum play for New Canaan because it was, you know, Staples been trying to creep back in it in the second half. They were getting somewhat close to runs here or there. And New Canaan's made a big play to stop it as Derek Sale gets the free throw to go.
And here comes Gibbons again, taking himself back in.
The Rams are really going to go small ball here. Their biggest player on the court, Alex Gibbons, just 6'3". A lot of lineup flexibility with everyone healthy. Coach Melzer tweaked the lineup a lot.
Rebound by Thaw.
Jake Thaw gets the rebound.
And he fell on the floor there.
And trying to get it down to Constanti, but there was already a foul on the floor. And as you mentioned, Colin Russo, his second straight foul, now third on the game. Benny Fior in the 1-1. New Canaan now in the 1-1, as you mentioned. Get used to the charity stripe. Fior knocks it home and earns himself another shot. And I can see Coach Melzer in frustration just says, don't foul. But it's a little too late for that. New Canaan's already strapped foul-wise. Fior knocks home his second. Back to a 10-point game with 43.2 seconds left in third quarter. Fishman inbounds to Russo, bounce passing it to Ryan McAleer as Staples brings back the press. McAleer swinging it to Gibbons, who has 15 on the game. Just 2 in the quarter, though.
I think New Canaan's going to try to hold here for the last shot.
Here's Seachin jabbing on Jake Thaw and then getting it to Aaron Fishman. Locked up with Caleb Tobias, the 5'10" sophomore. McAleer dancing with Sale, kicking it to Russo. Russo, another 3 from the corner. That one's too strong, just 4 seconds left on the clock. Getting it to an open Staples shooter, that was Caleb Tobias. And big news for New Canaan in their FCAC hopes is that they have a 10-point lead at the end of this one in a must-win game. And even better news is that Fairfield Ward with a big lead. Fairfield Ludlow also with a lead over Norwalk, but that Fairfield Ward game, guys, obviously that big one up against Brian McMahon. That game is at Brian McMahon High School. And if I'm not mistaken, Fairfield Ward is up nearly 20 against them right now at the half. And Richfield also has the lead. Richfield looking to lock up the first seed in the tournament over Trinity Catholic and over Ward. And what would it mean with this team somewhat dead in the water, New Canaan that is, in the middle of the season? And people thought if they lost another game after 7 losses, they were out of the FCAC picture. And heading into Wednesday night in a few days, if New Canaan can win this one, even though Staples is getting close, and give them credit for fighting down the stretch, on senior night against Bridgeport Central, how much pressure is there? Especially, especially in a game where it's not really in your control if you make it or not. But how does it feel that this team has been able to somewhat flip a switch over these last few games and stay in it?
Well, these seniors have really rallied and come together. And
so the official score at the half of that Ward-McMahon game, for those New Canaan fans to know, it's 42 Fairfield Ward, 23 Brian McMahon.
foul will finish it there. Good finish.
And back to single-digit lead for New Canaan for the first time in a while. Leo Magnus just loses that one. A bit of butterfingers with 7:43 left in the final quarter. Just can't make that mental error.
These two teams play very different styles of basketball. New Canaan wants to slow it down, more defensive-minded type of basketball, while as Staples wants to shoot threes and they want to make you run.
And Staples, you mentioned, they're just a few shots away from getting back in it. They were down 17 points earlier in the half, and now with that bucket from Ben Fior, who leads Staples with 19 points on the night, it's just a 6-point game.
I believe that was Sale.
That was Derek Sale. But Fior leads Staples with 17 on the game. Good point, Matthew.
And New Canaan swinging the ball. Obviously, we want to take a little time off the clock here.
New Canaan hasn't had a lot of long possessions tonight. Gibbons trying to get the putback, gets his own rebound, and almost puts it in on the N1. Finally able to break a little bit of Staples' momentum as they went on a bit of a run. I believe it was a 6-0 run. And it looks like Gibbons, the sharpshooter from the free throw line, is probably going to end it. And he does.
So just a 7-point lead here. May go up to 8 after this Gibbons free throw, and it does. You know, this is a very crazy game. Up 17. Now with this comeback from Staples, I mean, this New Canaan team really needs to just slow it down and start playing their form of basketball, keep the ball in their control.
And the funny thing is, it didn't come from those big three-point shots we were expecting. It came from just a lot of chipping it in to the lead and getting it done down low and drawing fouls on New Canaan.
Yeah,
very un-Staples-like.
Even now we're seeing when they drive to the basket, the defense is wary to jump with them because they're worried about drawing a foul.
Here's Basic, who's had a rough night, and now Fior going baseline. And the rim doesn't do him justice there as he misses. Deep three from Basic, can't connect. Another offensive rebound for Staples. It's Derek Sale.
Staples just out hustling them right now.
Basic driving and finally getting it to go on Hank Poley. Poley says he was vertical, but refs don't agree.
That should have been going New Canaan's way. That right there should have been going New Canaan's way. I mean,
I think that's another player with 3 fouls for the Rams.
You got Gibbons in a bit of foul trouble. Leo Magnus is in a bit of foul trouble. And now you got Hank Poley. New Canaan already 18 fouls. And Staples has 7 of her own as well. So we can see a lot of a free throw line down the stretch.
I mean, going back to what I was saying, they said back-to-back offensive rebounds, which could be a killer here for New Canaan. As Gibbons
saves it. Acrobatics and a travel on Leo Magnus. He's made some very bad mental errors in this fourth quarter. He lost it out of bounds to start the quarter. And there, overstepping. Interesting move from Coach Melzer to keep the junior in there, but obviously he's had a big night with double-digit points for New Canaan.
He knows Leo's talent, and he feels that it's important for Leo to be in the game down the stretch.
See there.
These are the moments he's got to prepare for senior season.
They're just draped all over these Staples players as
Thaw pull-up jumper rattles out, but a nice look to create that separation near the baseline. An 8-point lead for New Canaan, 5.5 left in the fourth quarter. Poley gets it. Gibbons, 3, offline.
Thought he had that one.
On the other end, it's Sale pulling up with Hank Poley in his face. He can't get it to go. And Gibbons is going to slow it down and get it to the point guard, the General Ryan McAleer, the senior captain.
There's no reason for New Canaan to rush here. They have the lead, and they don't want to change their offense.
Open Christian Sweeney off the Alex Gibbons pass. And New Canaan missing some open shots down the stretch. Ball is loose. McAleer picks it up like he's playing baseball. Just checking it around, just rolled right to him.
He is the starting varsity shortstop and a team captain, so it comes naturally for him.
And you knew I had to drop that reference in there. Here's Poley looking for the pass, and he finds Christian Sweeney who finds an opportunity in the lane, and it rims out. Can't catch a break. Missing back-to-back shots. Open. Jake Daw for three. He buries it. This is as close as it's been since early in the first quarter. New Canaan just up 5. As Staples continues to claw their way back in it. Gibbons open for 3, and finally he's right back.
You know,
Coach Melzer calls a timeout.
When you need that bucket to get yourself momentum, that's the guy you go to. I mean,
a 3-year starter, there's no one else you wanted to take that shot more than Alex Gibbons.
Gibbons now up to 18 on the game with 4 triples for the senior. You know, he might not be a captain, but with his on-court play, he is the guy who steers the ship for this New Canaan team momentum-wise.
He's a guy when you're having struggle offensively, he can get you a shot to get your offense breathing again.
Well, I was talking to Coach Melzer before that really rough Richfield loss where New Canaan at home lost by a good chunk. You know, he said we run a lot of our offense around Alex Gibbons. And, you know, obviously that's blatantly obvious with the way that this team runs. But it's even the things that he just does on open catch-and-shoot looks or in transition or even defensively as a two-way player where you just can't really replace that.
Some players, they get a superstar mentality. They think they're too good. But Alex Gibbons, he's another player who will hustle as hard as he can every play.
Really no ego with Alex Gibbons either. I mean, he's confident. I mean, he makes a lot of shots where most players wouldn't even attempt it. But eight-point lead for New Canaan with Alex Gibbons leading the way.
Shout out to Will McKay.
Jake Daw with a much-needed Staples bucket. Brings it back to within 6.
And now we're seeing Staples switch into a 1-3-1. Let's see what the Rams can do offensively against it.
Christian Sweeney's trap before Poley gets it. It's deflected. Sweeney gets it back. Here's McAleer. Really nice bounce pass. Oh, and Hank Poley can't get it to go off the reverse.
Now that's just bad bounces.
Here's Basic, who was able to create something there before Magnus regathered defensively. Basic pulled it back, but Magnus went right with them on the break. Staples moving it around. Here's Jake Daw, who's had a couple big buckets for Staples down the stretch. Picks it up, can't put it in. And Christian Sweeney finally grabs it.
Now that would have been a very clutch shot right there, but can't get the fall.
McAleer directing traffic. Gets to Sweeney.
They're just going to try to
cross court to Gibbons. And back to McAleer with Jake Daw right in his grill. Pops it up to Sweeney. Gibbons open and losing it. Jake Daw with the steal. Looking to go all the way. And that's going to be an and one.
Yeah, Gibbons couldn't set his feet there. He didn't have enough time, and that's why that wasn't.
That's 4 fouls on Alex Gibbons.
That's going to be a blocking foul on Gibbons. He was looking for the charge. And as you mentioned, Matthew, just not enough time. Really nice play there from Jake Daw, too, to slow it down instead of turning on the Jets. Caught Gibbons off guard.
And you can hear this whole place right now going crazy for this free throw.
Not a lot of people expected it to get back to this point. Staples, did not play like a 13-win team in the first half. In the second half, they're playing like it. Coach Colin Devine and crew were able to get the team regathered. The gym, pretty loud. Jake Daw, doesn't matter to him. Back to a 3-point game, and they're going to take him out, give him a rest. But an interesting move to take your best player off the court, down 3 with 2:35 left. Aaron Fishman gets it.
Little miscommunication there by New Canaan. Almost couldn't get the ball in.
Floating it up to Gibbons. Here's Poley on the baseline. Deep 3 from Gibbons. Rims out too strong.
And Poley almost gets that rebound, but here we go. Staples on a fast break.
And that's going to be another foul on New
call on
Canaan.
the defensive end.
That's going to be on Derek Sale. Number 2 for New Canaan, Aaron Fishman committing the crime. New Canaan is already in the double bonus with 2:14 left, with 10 fouls exactly. Sale, first free throw, good. Single possession game still, just a 2-point game. A 17-point lead New Canaan had at one point in this quarter. They were up 13, I believe, at the half, and now it's just a 2-point game.
And then they're really starting to, choke with the lead they had, but I'll see if they can pull it out.
Sale, second shot is up and nowhere close as it hits the front of the iron. Gibbons gets the rebound. With just over 2 minutes left in regulation.
Staples is back into a man-to-man look on defense.
Here's Magnus, getting it to Fishman.
Back to
McAleer. Goes
Great
down
take.
and gets it to go all over Benny Fior. Just a really big bucket, all power on that one.
Fans like that one. That was a great take there by McAleer.
He's denying Thaw here.
Look at
Doing
that.
everything he can to prevent him from getting the ball.
He's showing the Staples defensive back how it's done. He loses it. New
Foley
Canaan.
is fouled. Now that is a crazy transition of events. As Ryan McAleer, obviously becoming the work dog right here for the New Canaan Rams to try and win this game.
And even though it was a personal foul, in the 1-and-1 is Staples with 8 fouls. So Poley fought for that one off the Jake Thaw turnover, who's back in the game for Staples. And there's some big free throws for Poley, who's not often at the charity stripe. And he can't get it to go. 4-point game. Fior pushing it up, getting it to Sale. Bounce pass is going to be a kick ball violation on Poley.
And that is not a foul, so Staples will take it out of bounds rather than shooting free throws.
Good point, as New Canaan is in the double bonus and has been for the last minute. Basic spots up and gets it to Constanti.
They're trying to get him a shot right now.
Constanti down low, and he gets it to go. Staples is looking for the timeout, and they will get it. Just a 2-point game still.
Great game right now. Wow. They may have been able to call a little charge down there, but I think that was a good call by the refs to not call that charge.
I've really been impressed with the resilience of this Staples squad, just chipping away at the lead steadily.
Talk about really the tale of two halves, to put it clichely. In the first half, you had New Canaan up double digits, really just commanding it all the way. And then in the second half, Staples hasn't made those big shots we were expecting, but you put it really perfectly, Brendan. They've just been chipping away slowly and steadily. You got Jake Thaw, you got Benny Fior, who we didn't really expect to have a big night, but he's been having a fantastic game for them. And as much as you love Alex Gibbons, you need more than that, and especially defensively, you need more than him.
Well, they've recognized that they need to make a change offensively, and that's what they've done. If New Canaan's not giving them the three, they got to get to the basket. And they've been doing a good job of getting to the hole and getting to the charity stripe.
And now let's see the Staples pressure. They're obviously going to press up, try and take this ball away from New Canaan.
New Canaan has been pressed a lot in the second half from Staples. It wasn't working early on, but Colin Devine and the Staples coaching staff stuck with it, and it's worked ever since. Here's McAleer, pressured by Fior. Floating it up, and Aaron Fishman goes up to get it. Leo Magnus missing an open shot, but Hank Foley on the putback.
Great putback there by
Really
Foley.
clutch play from the senior captain.
That's just being in the right place at the right time.
Derek Sale, spot up three is no good. With just under a minute left, New Canaan's up 4. Here's Magnus getting the pass.
And you can see Melder just saying, hold it, hold it.
And finally, he gets fouled.
Wow.
That's going to be on Lucas Basic.
That's his 5th foul.
And he is out.
He is done for the night.
That is huge. And they're going to look to see who they can check in, but not a lot of guys can make shots like Basic, even though he hasn't made a lot from beyond the arc tonight.
Henry Foley, he's had a quiet night tonight, but, after that was a great putback there, and, when you need him, he obviously is starting to come out in the clutch.
And Foley more of a stretch 4, but there he just goes all big, 6'5". Good instincts. off an unexpected Leo Magnus miss.
For the Rams, Leo Magnus shoots 101.
And Lucas Bassage finishing with just 1 3-point shot made on the night, 3 points total. Magnus really clutch, sinks it, and earns himself a second shot from the line for number 20, the junior, in a big moment with the Rams FCAC hopes on the line.
That's a great burden off his shoulder. He's been having a tough fourth quarter, and to hit those free throws, it brings his confidence back. And
we see Sweeney's now going to be face guarding Jake Thaw.
Open corner 3 for Tobias, and he sinks it. Caleb Tobias,
the 10th grader,
getting it to go.
And a reach and foul called on Jake Thaw.
That is
Alex
not.
Gibbons will head to the
That
line
is not
for
the
double
first you want to
bonus.
foul at this point, you know.
Sorry for the voice crack there, by the way.
22 points. Gibbons, yeah, he's not the guy you want to send to the free throw line right now. I mean, he's almost automatic from here.
Yeah, there's one guy on every team, and really New Canaan has 2 where you talk. Alex Gibbons, I was going to say he's automatic, but he misses. And Aaron Fishman, who are the 2 guys you don't want to send to the line. Gibbons, another all FCAC scoring night for him, 22 points for the senior, who misses both, and it's still a 1-possession game.
Those 2 clanked out.
Will Staples try for 2 or go for 3? Jake Thaw getting it down low and getting it in, sinking it with New Canaan draped all over.
Here we go. That's what it comes down to, boys. And they'll foul Christian Sweeney
Christian
there.
Sweeney is fouled by Benny Fior, who's had an awesome game for Staples.
You know, Sweeney, a good free throw shooter, but let's see.
This might maybe be a good time to mention, just in case New Canaan is 2-0 in overtime games this season up against Fairfield Ward and Wilton. But here, Christian Sweeney has a chance to get it back to a 3-point game with both teams in the double bonus. He's going to sink the first. They'll bring it back to 2. Meanwhile, Staples has yet to play an OT game all year. But they need a bucket before we talk about that.
Great.
Christian Sweeney is no stranger to the spotlight.
No timeout from Coach
Varsity
Devine.
superstar
Finally he
in
does as
3
they go.
sports.
A timeout is called by Devine.
Now that's what the people paid their money for, Ian. These are the big nights. Down 3. What is Staples going to do with the basketball?
I'll ask you, what should they do with the basketball?
I mean, they
Look
should,
no further than the young man wearing number 24,
yeah.
Jake Thaw.
Honestly, he's been having
Benny Fior has had a great night, but I feel like he's the guy you want with the ball in this situation.
Yeah, Thaw's been having. He had a rough couple first quarters, but you know, in this fourth quarter, he's really turned it on.
Exactly 10 seconds left to go in this game. A classic FCAC game. New Canaan fighting for their chances at an FCAC spot. Staples looking to clinch their first FCAC tournament bid in quite some time. They haven't had a winning season since 2012. Meanwhile, to give you an update on that McMahon game, Brian McMahon, speaking of comebacks, McMahon was down 19 at the half. Now they're only down 6 with 3 minutes left to go up against Fairfield Ward. So if McMahon wins that game, New Canaan is officially out in chances of an FCAC spot. But if Ward can hold on, and if New Canaan can win, then they still have a chance at an FCAC tournament bid. Another update, Richfield with a 24-point lead in their game.
Here we go.
But let's go down here. New Canaan High School gym. New Canaan 10-8. Staples 13-5.
And they're going to hold for this last shot.
Here's Thaw.
Double team
Getting
Thaw.
it to Constanti. Back to Thaw. Puts
For
up the
three.
heave.
It's
Oh,
off.
so
No good.
close.
1 second.
Puts up the miracle shot. No good.
And New Canaan will win the game.
Thank you for pointing that out,
Do you
Matthew.
believe it, Ian?
I do believe it. Seeing the score bug.
A thriller. Every second counted. And
Great shot attempt there. I mean,
An excellent game here from the New Canaan High School gym. We're going to get a look probably at the second half highlights in just a moment.
the senior Jake Thaw, he had that final shot, but you know, couldn't get it to fall.
Not a lot of separation there either. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, with 3 guys draped all over you. There's not much you can do there. New Canaan just played excellent defense in that final 10-second stretch.
And they knew that he was trying to take that final shot. They knew they were trying to get their star player the basketball.
They double teamed him right from the inbound. Good job by Danny Melzer identifying that Jake Thaw is getting the ball down the stretch. He's the man, and it's not a surprise that he's going to get the final shot.
New Canaan getting the much-needed win to keep their FCX tournament chances alive. The question is, can they beat Bridgeport Central on Wednesday at 7 o'clock? And will Brian McMahon lose against Ward? Check that out online. And will they lose on Wednesday? We could see you for an FCX tournament game on Saturday. We'll keep you with updates at Twitter at NCTV78 to make sure we're not missing anything there. But good luck to New Canaan down the stretch, and good luck to Staples down the stretch. Final score, New Canaan 64, Staples 61. Thank you, Brendan Tiscornia. And for the first time, Matthew Wronski for joining me on the broadcast. Thank you to our producers, Cortland Parrott and Emily Fox, our cameraman, Dylan Pescator, our advisor, Roman Sobolski, Bill Brown, Amy Warren, and our athletic director, Jay Egan. I've been Ian Nicholas. Have a good night. Hopefully we see you for an FCX tournament game on Saturday.